Welcome, soul brothers and sisters. I'm excited about this one. This one is about dating and dating apps and dating in a meaningful way. And I actually went and did some research on this. This was fun. This was fun because this was different. So the world of dating, but importantly, the world of dating in relation to dating apps and the dating apps that are out there. Let me read you this question that I received and let's go from there, right? So I don't know much about this person. It was a question from a while ago and I can't remember it too much, but so I can't remember if it's a male or female. I can't remember their sexual orientation. Well, they didn't really say any of that. So let's look at it from a perspective of mainstream dating, okay, to some degree. But let's go into this. So, hi, I'm a new person to Canada. Assuming this person has just arrived in Canada, they're from another country. So there could be some cultural barriers and language barriers potentially as well. I wonder, is it searching? Yeah, I wonder if is it searching a person who wants a meaningful relationship in dating apps like Bumble useful to find the right one? Do you have any suggestions for me? So, basically what they're asking is Bumble a good tool or a aligned tool, a dating app to find someone that is the right one for them? Okay, so the answer is yes and. So let me firstly say, why do we look for love? What are we searching for? We're searching for at conscious and unconscious levels. So when we're looking for love in the world, when we're looking to be in an intimate relationship of some form, even if it's just a relationship purely based on sexual interaction, what we're essentially looking for, what we're searching for, is an opportunity to be seen, to be understood, to be heard, to be felt, maybe for the first time in our lives. We're looking for an opportunity to be understood by another human being. And unconsciously, what we're also looking for is some healing. We're looking to be healed from wounds or experiences that we've had in the past that haven't been pleasant. And we're looking to either replicate those experiences in a more healthy way in our intimate relating. That sometimes that involves sexual interaction, sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes it's more of an emotional interaction. And so that's what we're looking for when we're yearning for relationship. We can also speak to the human needs, the 6 human needs, and Tony Robbins speaks to this a great deal. We're looking at certainty and variety. We're looking at significance, love and connection, and we're looking at growth and contribution. And so sometimes we're looking to fill these needs through relationship. Now, depending on where we are within ourselves, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, our level of awareness, we'll search for or we'll try to fill the voids within those human needs in another person. And sometimes it can be an unhealthy construct and it can be an unhealthy relational pattern that we start to develop in our human relationships, in our romantic partnerships. So this person's very specific. They're looking for a meaningful relationship, whatever that means to them. They're looking for what I can assume is a long-term relationship. They're looking for the one, or their definition of the one. Not everyone has that. Not everyone is looking for the one. Not everyone has that set of parameters that I have to find one person that I will spend the rest of my life with. And I'm not insinuating that this person wants that either. However, if we're looking for meaningful relationships, where do we start? And is Bumble a good place to start? Well, I can't really tell you that. But I will say this. Let's go through a process here of understanding some things. So firstly, there's some questions that we need to ask ourselves, such as, what do you really want in a relationship? How are you presenting yourself? What are you portraying? What are you looking for? Are you clear with what you want? Do you know what you're looking for in the other person? And are you clear on what you can offer? And I'm going to get into dating app or relationship strategies in a moment. However, I also want to speak to dating apps are not the only way to meet someone. Think about this for a moment. Before dating apps existed, what did we do? We connected with people through mutual friends. We met people in social institutions such as bars, clubs, churches, hobby clubs, sporting clubs, through friends, through families, at a mall, at a beach, traveling, at work, and more recently, dating apps, social media, Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, corporate, into corporate functions. I mean, there are so many ways to meet people, and it begins with understanding who we are. That's why I said, what questions can you ask yourself with respect to what are you willing to give a relationship? What type of relationship do you want? What, even going as deep as to understanding some of your sexual fantasies, understanding what you really desire in intimacy. In many of my programs, when we speak to relationships and sexuality, we deep dive into what does it mean to really be sexually expressive in a healthy way, in a way that is liberating and free. And so that helps us just understand ourselves at a deeper level, essentially. So I also wanted to share with you, when I did some research into the dating apps that are out there. So Bumble is considered a relationship dating app. Coffee Meets Bagels, another one. Match.com, The League, Elite Singles, OkCupid, Once.com, I think it is. So these are considered relationship dating apps. At some level though, every dating app is a dating app that carries with it some level of that casuality, that one night stand element to it. At some level. Now, not everyone on there is going to be seeking one night stands or casual interactions. Some people are really looking for deep, meaningful, long or longer term relationships. And so weeding that out and being really clear on that, I'm going to share with you in the dating strategy in a moment, in when you're on dating apps, because dating apps are still a legitimate way to meet people. There's nothing wrong with them at all. And so I went a little bit further and did some research into conscious dating apps. And before you would go into a conscious dating app, whatever the fuck that means, you would have to define what conscious means to you, what awareness means to you, what meaningful means to you, in context to relating, to being in an intimate relationship. And so some of those dating apps were Conscious Dating Network, Conscious Match, Meet Mindful, Spiritual Singles. There's a Burning Man dating app that I can't remember what that's called. Yogi Approved is another one. And so that's specifically for people that share a very deep interest in yoga. And these are considered, again, quote unquote, conscious dating apps. And really, I don't know what that means, because it really depends on how you define that. Some of the sex dating apps, no surprise, it's in their name and they're very explicit with that. Be Naughty, Ashley Madison, findmyflings.com, Uber Horny, One Night Friend, Adult Finder or Adult Friend Finder, something along those lines. And then you've got all your local dating apps as well, your sex dating apps. And these are specifically for finding sex, having casual sex hookups, or even medium term, short term, longer term sex hookups. But it's not about meaningful relationships or expanded longer term relationships. And so when we go back to the original question, is Bumble a good place to find, is it a suitable place to find a meaningful long-term relationship? I don't know. I've actually never been on Bumble. However, I have done some research, more than just some research. And there are people there are individuals that are looking for long-term relationships and do spend some time on those dating sites, such as Match.com, such as Bumble, such as The League, etc. So you've got to get clear on what you want. You've got to get clear on why you're on a dating app. And are you trying to, I want to come back to the beginning for a moment before we go into this strategy. Are you trying to fill a void? Are you trying to fill a void in an unhealthy way? Are you seeing yourself as lacking, or are you in scarcity? Are you in pain? Are you feeling lonely? And do you think you can fill that void with another human being, whether it be short-term or long-term? Because that plays a role in how you behave and how you show up. And not only how you behave and how you show up, but also how you see yourself, how you allow others to treat you and to hold your heart if you're giving your heart. And so get clear on why do you want it to be in a relationship. Before you go on a dating app, before you open your heart and your body and your being and your mind up to dating, get really clear on why you want to be there. that makes the world of difference. Let's go into a dating strategy, okay? Whether you're on a dating app or not, I thought this would be really relevant for this talk, okay? So screening. Screen your matches. Make your intentions clear. You make your intentions clear by knowing yourself. For example, I'm looking for a committed, meaningful relationship. And also say what you don't want. Be super clear. I'm not looking for NSA, no strings attached. I'm not looking for casual sex. I'm not looking for... So be really explicitly clear on what you want and what you don't want. Pay attention to the communication. This is part of the strategy. There are times during the day, for example, if you're talking to someone in the same area as you, and maybe they're on their lunch break and you're seeing a pattern of they're only communicating with you when they're on their lunch break. Maybe they're trying to fill in a gap, or when it's late at night, or when on the train commuting in the morning. Is that someone really looking for a relationship? Are they putting the effort in? Are they really present to what you need? I would also have a strategy around FaceTiming and FaceTiming video and actually getting on the phone. Look at me. We had such a fun conversation about this. I was doing this the other day, and we're in a group of people, and we were having a celebration. And they looked at me and said, "Who the fuck does that anymore? That's from the 70s or the 80s." I said, "This is the symbol, the international symbol for the phone. Everybody knows this." And they were saying, "Is that how you hold a phone? Don't you hold a phone like this?" And I was saying, what does this even mean? Anyway, that right there, okay? Get on the phone with someone, have a video FaceTime with someone before you meet them. And if they're not willing to do that, well, what does that tell you about where they are? At the least, do that. Broaden your search. Don't limit yourself. Lists are good. Let me explain what this means. So it's great to have a list of the attributes, the characteristics, the type of person that you want, but do not be attached to that list. Do not see that list as the be all and end all. Do not be so specific on that list that you limit what you're able to experience. And I'm not talking about compromising on your values or compromising on bringing in a person with integrity into your life. I'm talking about do not limit your list so much that you're blind to the opportunities of people that are coming into your life through a dating app or otherwise, and they're willing to see you and they're willing to be there, but because they have a different color hair, or because they don't quite make as much money as you thought, or because they're in a different job, or because they come from a different social pedigree, or whatever it may be, whatever it is that point is for you, just be open, broaden your search. Don't play games. Don't play these games. You know, we'll talk about pickup artistry for a moment. So the PUA industry, mainly for men, you know, I don't even know. Ultimately, it's well-intentioned. It's about helping people gain greater self-worth, self-love, and self-care. And some of the tools and techniques that have been used in that industry and in that schema, in that practice, have been manipulative and have been hyper-selfish and self-absorbed. But ultimately, it's been grounded in some just wanting to be healthier men in the world, wanting to have more self-confidence so they can connect with other human beings. They're coming from that place of longing for connection. But don't play games. I mentioned PUA because sometimes when we're talking about PUA, it's, well, don't respond back to her within 2 hours. And if you're a woman, don't respond back to him straight away. Let him know that you've got other interests and so forth. And I get that. I get the psychology around that. And you're playing games. Be fucking clear with what you want. And if you want to get back to someone, get back to them. If you want to have a fluid conversation, have a fluid conversation. If they're not reciprocating that, then it's telling you something. It's either that they have other commitments and they genuinely do want to engage, but they can't at this point in time, or maybe they're playing games. Don't assume, just be observant of the patterns. Be radically authentic and be radically honest. Radically honest, but there's a big fucking but here, a big but, and let me tell you what that is. That is, I have no problem with you or anyone going and saying, this is who I am, this is what I want, this is what's happening, this is what I can give you, this is what I want from you, and these are my preferences in relationship. That's great. Only do that if you have a heightened sense of self-worth, if you back yourself, believe in yourself, know yourself, trust yourself, have done some deeper work around your fears, and around maybe rejection, abandonment, humiliation, whatever your core woundings are. Most of us have them, not all of us, but most of us have them. Because then that may be too much for people. And so doing that in the first date, or being super, and I want you to be super clear in your dating profile as well, that I would definitely want that. However, just be prepared for maybe crickets at times, because you're minimizing your target group. You're lowering the demographic that you now have access to, but you are increasing the quality of your demographic as well. Just do that work. Deal with those fears. Deal with the patterns in relationships that are unhealthy for you. Another strategy is don't assume something of the other. Ask. Be very direct. If you have a query and a question, don't go searching on social media for what that answer might be indirectly, which brings me to my next point in a moment, but just ask them directly. Be really honest with that as well, and come from a place of compassion, heart, and don't be attached. So the last part, before I get to the second last point, is don't be attached. Do not be attached to an outcome. Do not be attached to how someone needs to show up. Observe. And if it doesn't align with you, if it doesn't resonate with your values, move on. But don't be attached to that. Don't have that expectation that's so rigid and so locked in. And so the second last point, which is now the last point, is don't overstalk someone on social media. Observe them, see their behavior. If there's a resonance and an alignment there, great, continue the communication and the engagement. If there's not, cut it. And trust into that. And if you have questions, go to them directly. Don't go from secondary or third tier sources. Brothers and sisters, I hope that helps. I had fun doing some research into this as well, and going behind the veil a little bit. And this is a video that I could speak to for more than just 15, 20 minutes. However, I'm going to cut it there now. I'm going to say power and blessings to you. Thank you so much for being here. I'll see you again soon.